Welcome everybody to Understanding Object-Oriented Programming, and tonight we're going to be learning a little bit more about object-oriented programming and logic. And I'd like to, if you haven't noticed already, the first 4 chapters in my book, as I'm introducing Objective-C terms and syntax, I'm also introducing it first with Alice and then doing the same project in Objective-C. And that helps those that may not have programmed as much or programmed before pick up the terms without having to both pick up the terms, the concepts, and then deal with Xcode, the syntax of Objective-C. We can focus doing it with Alice. So tonight we're going to learn about how to do our final project and the random number guessing game that I did both in Alice and Objective-C. Tonight we're going to do it in Alice. And the nice thing about using Alice is it allows us to quickly design our applications and learn how to do it without having to learn all the syntax and compiling and debugging that we have to in Xcode. And if you haven't already, this is kind of the project that we're going to do, or we're going to get through most of it in the 10 minutes that I have allocated by YouTube. And those that are attending live, I'll answer your questions at the end of this recording. And those of you that are watching the recording, if you ever want to view any of the recordings or attend live, just go to my website, excelme.com. Click on the free videos, which is open to everybody, including those that bought the book. And I go through the different chapters in the book, different terms, new technology that's come out. And they're typically every Wednesday night. And the schedule's right here on what's coming up, and I usually update this once a month depending on what's going on. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, every time I upload a new video, you get notified. So anyway, let's go ahead and run the completed Alice project. And basically this application has it where you can pick a number between, you guess a number between 0 and 100. The computer picks a random number and you guess it. So we'll start out, it's 50, it's telling me it's too high. Let's do 25, let's kind of divide and conquer. Still too high. Let's do 12. That's too high. Let's do 6. That's too low. 10. Too high. 8. Too high. Must be 7. There it is, correct. All right, so how did we do this with Alice? And then at the end it asked me, do we want to play again? And then it gracefully tells us, thanks for playing. So how do we do this? Well, let me close Alice and let's start off with a new project. There we go. And I'm going to start off with the new project. And feel free to ask questions at the end for those that are attending live. And I just got some examples here already programmed, but I'm just going to delete these because you may want to see how I did this from scratch. And we'll get through most of the project tonight, if not all of it recorded anyway. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my variables to hold some of the data. Well, I want to know, one of them is I need something to keep track of if they want to keep playing. I need to know if they want to keep playing the game. So I'm going to make that a Boolean data type. And if you read in the book, you'll learn about what a Boolean data type is. It's a true-false value. And I'm going to make a couple other ones here. I'm going to make a integer here that holds the random number that the computer guessed or created. Number, and that's going to be initialized to 0 because like all good programmers, we like to initialize our variables to values when we create them. And user guess, initialize to 0. And we're going to have another one here. These are my local variables. And I'm going to create one that, a Boolean for continue guessing. Guessing, and that is going to be set to true. All right, well, I'm going to be inside of a loop at the beginning because a loop goes through the same code over and over again. And so I want the same code to be executed while they want to continue playing the game. And so I'm going to drag down my while loop and just initially set it to true, but I can always change it. And I want to, while they want to keep playing, while the keep playing variable is true, remember while loops do whatever's in here that creates a true condition. So while keep playing is equal to true, I want to do this. Well, what is it that I want to do? Well, first thing I want to do in this while loop is I want to go ahead and get my random number. And I'm going to go ahead and get random number. And what I like to do is I like to save often when I'm using Alice, because Alice isn't the most stable Java application out there. And don't think that Xcode is much stabler. Those of you that are familiar with Xcode, Xcode 4 and beyond, sometimes Xcode crashes and it's quite frustrating. So get used to saving your projects often, whether it be Alice or Xcode. This is a little bit tricky one if you haven't created a random number here. If you just click on random number here, this arrow, you can say random number, and I want to pick a random number up to and including my value. So from 0 to a custom number, and I'm going to put 100. So random integer from up to and including takes two parameters, 0 and 100. This will give me a random number between 0 and 100, including 0 and 100. So now that I got my my main loop going where they can keep playing, it picks a random number, I need to have another loop that continues executing until they guess the right number, what it is. So I'm going to drag that guy down, and I am going to say while continue guessing, it's going to show me all my Boolean values here, variables. And so while continue guessing is true, well, they've both been initialized to true. So keep playing is true, continue guessing is true. So my program flow, when it first comes down executing this is true, where they're going to go in, I'm guaranteed they're going to go into the loop the first time. All right, so now we want to get the user's guess. We want the user to guess a number. We want to prompt them to guess a number. Well, we're going to be working with the variable user guess, because that's where we're going to store the user guess. And we'll just put it equal to 1. But if I go to my functions here that are available for my astronaut, I can prompt them here with a nice little prompt string. I can get a string from the user. So if I click on it and drag it, hold on here, it's not quite playing. There we go. There we go. Get integer from user. That's what I want to get integer from user. There we go. I selected the wrong one. And I want to give a custom text string, and I want to say, guess a number between, see what I can spell between, right? Between 0 and 100. And you could be more descriptive and say including 0 and 100, but it's kind of our little demo program. And so now I have my my user guess a number, but now I want to check and see if that number is equal to the random number. So I want to drag down my if statement. And true. So I want to say if the user guess, oops, sorry. I'm working with an integer, so I want to go down here with the integer and pick, are these two equal? Is user guess equal to the random number? So there it is, our if statement. And the nice thing is when we go to program this in Objective-C, it's like almost, it's all done for us. We just got to use the right Objective-C syntax, which I'll show you in the book how to do, and we'll maybe do one night. So now that we know if this is true, the if here is true, if user guess is equal to random number, we want to tell the user that they got the right number, and we don't need to have them keep guessing for the correct number. So let's go ahead and drag our astronaut say out here, and let's say you guessed the correct number. Okay, and now to get out of this while statement, we want to turn continue guessing to false, because that will get them out of this loop and they can play again if they want. So we'll drag that up here inside the true part of the if statement. And so continue guessing is equal to, false. All right, so now we got to handle the if part of this, and I'm going to go kind of quick, is that we now need to check were they too high or too low so that we can tell them so that they have a clue which direction to go. They're too high or they're too low. So what we're going to do is we're going to do user guess again, and greater than, pick the greater than comparison. Is user guess greater than the random number? And if it is, we want to tell them that. So we'll drag that out and say too high. And guess what? Now that we've checked to see if it's equal and we checked to see if it was greater than, by definition here, we know that if it's not equal to or greater than the number that the random number, then by definition it's too low. We have no other option. So we don't need to do another if statement. We can handle that in the false part, the else part of the if statement. So we can say too low. And okay. Now the only two other things that we need to do is ask them outside of this while loop here, if they got the right number, we just need to ask them, do they want to continue playing? Keep playing. And then in this loop outside here, our last line of code, you might want to say, let's see, thanks for playing, because that means that they said that they didn't want to continue playing. And again, it's all in the book here. I'm just kind of showing you how to get around in Alice and what the logic looks like. And we can say here value, thanks for playing. Done. All right, I will be happy to take any questions or talk about anything else on this subject or any other topic after I stop the recording for those that are watching on YouTube. Those are watching on YouTube, feel free to join us. Any live session, just come to the free webinars, click on Go Here, and you can join us in our webinars live as well. Thanks for attending, and look forward to seeing you next week. Good night, those that are watching on YouTube.